Well, Yemen's Houthi rebels have released a video which they say shows them hijacking a ship in the Red Sea, which they believe has links to Israel. Israeli authorities say a British-owned, Japanese-operated cargo ship was taken by the rebels, labelling it an Iranian act of terrorism.
Far out in the Red Sea, a cargo ship sails into a Houthi ambush. In astonishing footage released by the Yemeni rebel group, a helicopter tails the vessel, then moves into land on its deck. The Houthis are known for their land-based insurgency in Yemen, not for this kind of operation at sea. A paramilitary squad fans out across the ship as the helicopter peels away, then heads for the vessel's bridge. Bursting in and ordering the crew to surrender the ship. Below decks, a Houthi fighter shouts "God is great" and curses America and Israel. "Here we are, Gaza," he yells. In Yemen, a Houthi spokesman claimed responsibility and had this chilling warning for other shipping linked with Israel.
The Yemeni armed forces renew their warning to all affiliated ships. It warns the Israeli enemy, or those dealing with it, that it will become a legitimate target for the armed forces.
The Houthis spare no effort showing off their capture as it sails towards waters they control in footage that could have been filmed for Hollywood. The vehicle-carrying vessel is registered in Britain, operated by the Japanese, but reportedly owned by a company owned by one of Israel's richest men. Now in the hands of a rebel group supported, trained and armed by Israel's arch-foe, Iran. A worrying development in this conflict, even if Iranians are trying to distance themselves.
We have said many times that resistance groups in the region represent their own countries and people, and they make decisions based on the interests of their own countries and nations.
The Iranian-backed Houthis have issued a graphic showing a vessel labelled with the word Israel, warning in English, Hebrew and Arabic, "We will sink your ships." Houthis have fired rockets at Israel, but not done this before. No Israelis are thought to be on board the Galaxy leader, but this extraordinary act of high-seas piracy is a direct challenge to Israel and its allies in the West, escalating tensions over the war in Gaza. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News, Jerusalem.
Yeah, certainly points to a wider war. Joining us live now is Norman Roule. He's a former senior CIA official who's managed significant programs in the Middle East. Norman, it's good to see you again. So I have to say I found this vision absolutely compelling. You just don't see this every day. In your view, how brazen is it?
Well, good day to you and to your viewers. It's brazen, but it's not particularly a high-risk operations for the Houthis. They've demonstrated a capacity to send armed men onto an unarmed ship against civilian pilots and to take over that ship. That's not a particularly significant military operation. Also, the Houthis have used explosive drone vessels, missiles, to attack commercial vessels in the past, mainly Saudi and Emirati. So the idea that they would threaten Red Sea shipping is not new. And last, I think we should remember our history. In the early 1970s, anti-Israeli Palestinian groups used Yemen to threaten Israeli fuel tankers at the time to put pressure on Tel Aviv.
Fingerprints, Iran?
No, certainly. I mean, Iran has provided them with training. There would need to have been some, not necessarily intelligence work, but some open source checking to understand which vessel was located approximately where and associated with which individual. That takes a little bit of work. Iran maintains at least one ship suspected of intelligence gathering in the Red Sea. And this vessel did come near that Iranian ship shortly before it was attacked by the Houthis.
This ship and its crew members, are they, do they become political pawns now, Norman?
Absolutely. And I understand that the Japanese government may have begun efforts to engage the Houthis, likely through Oman or perhaps through the United Nations, in order to win their release. I think what we're looking at, however, is a broader interruption or some sort of problem in the Red Sea, which could touch energy prices and shipping costs because of the container traffic through the Red Sea. At least two other ships associated with this company have diverted their travel because of this incident, and we should wonder if that might play into inflationary costs with goods in this area.
That's a really good point. And just finally, does this point to a wider war? It's not just this now. There have also been so many other attacks on, American installations and bases in recent weeks.
Well, what it says is that the Houthis and other Iranian proxies recognize there are multiple incentives for them to undertake activities which are below the level which would provoke a conventional conflict, but which are sufficient to divert resources, defy the United States, and for propaganda against Israel. Iran will say it has nothing to do with it, but Iran has empowered these individuals to do all of this.
Norman Roule, really good to talk again. Appreciate your time. We'll talk to you again soon.